Kol Halayim Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi by Shem Rakakadash or Barakatham. First and foremost, I want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who will continue to teach me this truth and who rule well. Shalom. And today's video, I was reading the book of Acts, and I told you I was taking a test on GMS homework about the book of Acts. So I read up to here about this thing about Claudius Caesar and Acts 11 verse 28, and there stood up one of them named Agabus, and signified by a spirit that there should be great dearth throughout all the world, which came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar. Now, that's the proper way of saying Caesar. It's actually Caesar, not Caesar. All right, they didn't really pronounce it like that. It sounded like Caesar. And disciples, every man according to his ability, determined to send relief unto the brethren which dwelt in Judea, which also they did, and sent to the elders by the hands of Barnabas and Saul. All right, and I was really interested in this. Now, any of you guys out there, and you guys can't be lazy, all right? Especially if you're coming up, guys who are training like me, recruits. Y'all can't be lazy ass niggas when it comes to this word, man. Because if you just leave it at that, determined to his ability to send relief. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, the relief was food. All right, and the dearth that they're talking about. Let's go in here and see what that word dearth means, just so we are 100% sure. Great dearth, limos, harvest, famine. So if you didn't look at that, then you wouldn't know. All right, but this isn't the only thing that that comes out of it, right? But from this we know it's a famine. Now, we're gonna pull up this one. So this is from Gospel Guardian. Right? These guys, especially in these old articles and these old sites like this, they're pretty reliable. They're not the best. Sometimes they go off depending on what you're looking at. But for the most part, they're pretty reliable. They have biblical scholars and people that work on these things. So Claudius Caesar was the 5th Roman emperor and ascended to the throne in 41 AD. His reign, well, actually, let's start at the beginning, just so you guys get the history. The name Caesar was either assumed or conferred upon all the emperors of the Roman Empire after Julius Caesar. In this sense, it was a title somewhat of the same order as the use of the name Pharaoh among the Egyptians, and is found some 26 times in the New Testament. Claudius Caesar was the 5th Roman emperor and ascended to the throne in the year 41 AD. His reign covered a period of 13 years, 41 to 54 AD, and was brought to a rather spectacular conclusion when one of his wives, Agrippina, poisoned him in order that her son could take the throne. Now, that son is Nero, okay? So, actually, I'm gonna go to YouTube. Slovakia. Alright, so here's pretty much the videos that I watched to make this video. I guess I'm gonna go hit it on a kind of shorter level, but I remember this one was the best one I saw by Biographics. This guy here, Edomite, he makes the best content when it comes to this stuff. But the short version is the Caesar before him was well, actually, let's start off with this line here, because I want to make this in a way that it's kind of easy to understand. So see, you got this list here. You got Augustus, Tiberius, Caesar, Kaiser Augustus, Tiberius, Caesar, Caligula, Claudius, Nero. So Claudius is here. He's the 5th Kaiser. All right, and this guy here, these two work together. Kaiser Augustus and Tiberius, they work together, and pretty much Augustus's children, they all start to die off one by one of diseases and other ailments. All right, and I believe he was assassinated or died of a sickness. Now I really don't care to look. Maybe I'll do a video on him at a later date. But this guy here, Tiberius, took up the reins. All right, after all of his sons died, after all of Augustus's sons died, Tiberius came up and he took over the reins. And these two guys, they come out of the same household, All right, Claudius is actually Caligula's uncle, so he actually left these two alive when he was killing off their family members. All right, because Claudius, he had an issue where he was kind of he wasn't too let me see, he wasn't too bright, he wasn't too intelligent, you know. Now this looks a little confusing, but this is um just the time when they ruled, when they were in reign, when they're in rulership. So this isn't the time that they were born. It looks a little confusing because you see 68 to 69 CE. That's ridiculous. That means he was 1 year old when he was ruling. All right, but going back into it, these two are related, and Caligula, he used to hang out with Tiberius a lot, and Tiberius got Caligula into his kind of his BDSM, fucking torture bullshit. He made Caligula an asshole. Because Tiberius was already an asshole. There's things on the island that he went to. He was torturing kids and molesting children. He taught Caligula about it. But what pretty much happened is that people started to hate Caligula. Caligula got killed, and Claudius takes up, and then Claudius gets poisoned by his wives, which he has a pretty fucked up love life. When you see here, his dating problems and whatever. One of his wives actually was a huge whore, and would compete with prostitutes to fucking see who could sleep with the most guys in a day. Um, but going back to the point, we're doing a little bit of hopscotch, but this is what they're talking about. This is that, you know, um, that 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 fuck that famine. All right, this is the famine. Here's another good site you can look at, BibleHistory.net, and it goes into here about the years and whatever. But I think it's pretty clear, what happened. But that wasn't the only issue that was going around in this time. Um, the way Caligula died, being stabbed to death. Um, Caligula was killed by senators, I believe, and it was a whole big conspiracy. He was stabbed to death in front of. Let me make sure I get this right. I think he was stabbed to death. Caligula died. He died in front of Palatine Hill. So I think he was going to the games in Rome, and some guys, they caught him and they killed him. It's theorized that Claudius actually performed the killing, well, hired the killing himself and was a part of it. But Claudius actually tried to look for Caligula's killers, but he wasn't able to go get them. He was only able to get the guy who was the forerunner of the assassination, and that was also a big issue there. But something else about this guy Claudius is that towards the end of his reign, and let me see. Oh, actually, yeah. Now that I'm here, don't get this confused. I remember reading this here at the end. Don't get confused with the one at Romans 15 and 26 is another famine here. But when you look at the time period, this is 57 AD, where Paul writes to the Romans, and this guy is already dead by then. Let's go make sure we get that right. He's long dead for at least 2 years by then. Yeah, 3 years. 54 AD. This guy gets iced. So, going back to the other thing that was important about this guy's asshole's rule, is that when you read here and Acts 18, and after these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth, and found a certain Jew named Aquila, and Pontus lately came from Italy with his wife Priscilla, because that Claudius had commanded all the Jews to depart from Rome and came unto them. All right, so that's another thing about this dickhead's thing, this dickhead's rule. So let's read at the top here. References to an expulsion of Jews from Rome by Roman Emperor Claudius. Yeah, who was in office AD 41 to 54, appear in the Acts of the Apostles and the writings of Roman histories Suetonius, AD 69 to 122, which you gotta take this thing with a grain of salt because this is 69.